Hello and welcome to HRBC show called Let's Talk. So today we have Amy Chudzinski. She's a candidate to be your representative in the 94th district. So we're going to see why she might be the right choice for for you guys. So welcome. Would you like to tell us a little about yourself?
Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm an attorney. I work at Protégero Law in downtown Norfolk. I live in Ocean View. Right now, I practice civil litigation. I do insurance defense. So, all of the insurance companies that insure all of you, they would hire our firm to represent you if you got into a car accident. I used to be a public defender. I was a public defender for 10 years. So I'm very familiar with the criminal justice system and all the good, the bad, and the ugly that's associated with that. Um, my father is a retired police officer. My mom was an immigrant from Poland. She came to America with nothing. She didn't speak English, and she ended up retiring as a pharmacy technician. So I was raised in a household where you were taught to work for everything and you had to work hard, and it wasn't an option. So I'm proof that the American dream exists and it can exist for everybody.
Okay, all right. Well, I have a few questions. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay. First question. What made you want to run for this position?
Well, I knew that I was unhappy with the way things are politically. I mean, you watch the news and everything is so ugly right now, and it just made me very frustrated. I saw Jen Kiggin's commercial, and she said, "Look, I got off the couch and did something about it." And so I started thinking about doing that, and I thought, "Well, what do I want to do? Do I want to run for office?" Um, and then I was encouraged by folks. My boss, Andy Prodigiro, he encouraged me to run, but I didn't agree to do it right away. I thought about it and I slept on it and I prayed and I prayed and I prayed for months, actually. And then I couldn't find a reason not to do it. And I felt compelled to do this. Um, I think that the political process, people are sick and tired of people fighting. They're sick and tired. They've told me from knocking doors and just meeting constituents. They're tired of politicians that don't listen. And I think we're all fed up with that. We're fed up with people fighting and all the acrimony and the nastiness. So I wanted to run as somebody from the community who is not a career politician. I've never run for office before. And I want to make everybody a part of this process. I want the political process to be more inclusive, because if everyone feels like they're involved, then maybe people will get out to vote and they will understand that they do matter, their voice matters, they are heard, and their vote matters. So I'm in love with the city of Norfolk. I live in Ocean View. I love it there. And this is my lifelong home. This is what I chose. And I want everybody to feel that if you send me to Richmond, that I will bring your voices, your agenda to Richmond with me.
Okay. All right. So your site says that you will defend the rule of law and support a common sense conservative agenda in Richmond. Now, what do you mean by that?
Okay. Well, the rule of law is basically a principle that says we are all held accountable to the same set of laws. I know that there are people out there who feel disenfranchised and they feel that, well, maybe certain laws apply to that group, but they don't apply to me, or they don't apply to that group. And no, we're all under the same set of laws, and we should all be treated equally under those laws. In the same sense, I want to bring some common sense back. Common sense isn't common. I guess I was fortunate enough to have it. And that's what I want to bring to Richmond with me. And it's like I said, it's the agenda of the people who are tired of career politicians. And they've said it again. They don't listen. They don't listen. I don't have a voice. And that's what I'm not interested in partisanship. Yes, I'm running for the Republican nomination because I have those, I'm fiscally conservative. I'm a Republican. However, not interested in partisanship. I'm here to get results. All right. I'm a trial attorney. Now, I know how to fight when I have to, but I'm also a problem solver. I have negotiation and mediation skills. So I want to take those skills with me to Richmond. I can work with the other side. I want to bridge that gap because we've got a log jam in Richmond and we need to put an end to it. And so that's my goal, to go up there and work together with people and do some bridge building. Enough of the division.
Okay. So, as a 20-year Navy retired person, how do you feel about not taxing military retirement checks?
Let me tell you, I am a strong supporter of our military. A lot of people don't know I was a military spouse for over 10 years. I loved every minute of it. I was fortunate enough to work with the military, particularly some wounded warriors, and I have such tremendous respect for our active duty military and our veterans. Um, we have military service members who are eligible for food stamps. They don't make a lot of money. The junior enlisted folks with dependents, they can get food stamps, and they put their lives on the line every day for us. They go out to sea, they go on deployments, they go into war zones, and they leave their families behind. They miss birthdays, they miss holidays, they miss anniversaries. And their job is 24/7, 365. And as a 20-year veteran, you know that. So it's time to give something back for your service. So I don't believe that we should tax the military retirement. We want to keep people here in Hampton Roads. We want to keep them in the city of Norfolk. And we don't want them leaving. So why tax their military? We have so much military talent. We want to retain them. We want to keep them here. And how many military-owned businesses do we have? We want to keep businesses here, so let's not tax the retirement.
Okay. Recently, Norfolk School Board voted for a new sex education curriculum aimed at grades 6 through 10. What are your thoughts about that?
Okay. Well, number one, parents need to be in charge of their children, and they need to know everything that's going on with their children, and they need to be involved in their education. I think that they had some public forums that were poorly advertised, and they started at 5 p.m. when most parents are just getting off work and they can't make it. I think the links to the curriculum were not easy to find. And the curriculum was 600 pages long. And I know a lot of people don't have time. Thankfully, as an attorney, I'm used to reading 600 pages and more. So I was able to go through it. And I'm sorry, the curriculum is just too explicit. I mean, we've got children in 6th grade learning about things that, frankly, I don't even want to say it on this podcast because I think it's too explicit for them. I was told at one of these public forums that, well, we have one of the highest teen pregnancy rates in Norfolk. But when they were talking about the curriculum, I didn't see pregnancy mentioned anywhere. I mean, certainly children need to understand some of these things, but not some of the stuff they were talking about. They wanted these kids to get into small groups and discuss potential sexual scenarios. That's not appropriate for children. That should be discussed with the parents. Some of the curriculum said we don't use terms like man and woman, boy and girl, because those are harmful stereotypes. That's not accurate at all. That's not scientifically correct. So I think that they should have held off on the vote and should have talked with more parents and learn so that people could learn more about it. So I would advise parents to please pay attention, and you have the opportunity to opt your children out of this training, and that you should do that. We need to get back to the basics. Norfolk Public Schools reading proficiency is 60%. In math, it's in the 40th percentile. How are we setting children up for success in the future if they can't read and can't do math? And we need to get back to the basics. We need to set them up for future success. The pandemic derailed everybody, and children were harmed. So I don't even think we know the depth or the levels of harm that were caused by that. So let's get them back on the road to success. They need to receive an education that meets their needs so they can be successful in the future and take advantage of opportunities. So I'm going to use my skills in negotiation and advocacy to support legislation and state funding appropriations that provides additional resources to our local schools, because that's what we need.
Okay. So what is your plan for bringing more jobs to Virginia?
Okay. So jobs in Virginia. right now, we've got so many small businesses that are the lifeblood and the backbone of our community. So we need to support them because they're the job creators in our community. But also, I'm going to look to our governor because our governor has millions of dollars he's provided for these grant programs. And these grant programs are designed to get businesses interested in coming to Virginia. For example, these grants have these business sites set up so that they can, and they're project ready, so we can attract these businesses. They've got training programs, and then tying this back into the school as well in setting our kids up for success. Why don't we have people from trades? Let's start in grade school. Let's start talking about some of these trades and internships so that we can have the talent pool here that attracts these businesses. So again, I'm going to support the governor in all of his efforts to bring more business here because he is a smart businessman and he knows what he's doing.
Okay. So, if abortion was brought up for a vote, what would that bill have to look like for you to vote yes to it?
And let me tell you, this is definitely a sticky subject and people don't like to talk about it, but I'm here to talk about it. First and foremost, I'm a person of faith. I'm Catholic. So me personally, I could never have an abortion. However, even though I am pro-life, I can still be pro-life and agree that we should have, that abortion should be legal. Okay. I think we need to look at protecting mothers, supporting mothers. We need to pass laws that respect the rights of the mothers, limit late-term abortion while providing reasonable exceptions. For example, we don't want women denied access to life-saving care. Certainly, the life of the mother. We certainly want exceptions in cases of rape and of incest. And then we also want to approve the process of adoption and, provide education and support to mothers. We need affordable childcare, for heaven's sakes. We've got a lot to improve on. Right now, I support the governor with his 15-week ban. But in Virginia right now, we currently allow up to 6 months. And, what I want to hear from is the other side, because one of the things they will not talk about is what limits do they support? Are they okay with 6 months? Are they okay with abortion right up until the moment of birth, or are they okay with abortion after the baby is born? We never hear from them about what their limits are. And I think that most people do support some limits. But what's really important is education, birth control. I think that birth control should be free for everybody. So we have a long way to go. But what we do is we start by having conversations and we start by working together and finding the common ground. And again, protecting women, protecting these mothers, and giving them the support that they need.
Okay. So the rising cost of health care for our older citizens is becoming a problem. Yes. What are your thoughts on improving it?
All right. Well, I think some of the problem obviously is at the federal level. It's a federal issue. But what can we do here at the state level to improve that? So, for example, my grandmother is 94 years old. My parents, they're 71 years old. And what they have to pay for their prescriptions is outrageous. And, the things that they, Medicare doesn't cover everything. And so what they have to pay supplementally is just huge. And it's unfortunate. And we've got people that need to be in care facilities and they can't afford to go into them. So what can we do at the state level? We need a better mechanism for means testing. So, for example, what makes you eligible to receive additional aid? And we need to work on that. So again, I think we have problems at the federal level that need to be solved, but I would be willing to work with both sides to figure out ways to alleviate some of the burden that we have on our seniors. Because again, this affects my family just like everyone else's, and I'm concerned.
Okay. So how do you feel about ending property tax on vehicles? We pay taxes when we buy vehicles. Every year we pay for new registrations. Why can't that just be enough?
Yeah. I agree with you. I mean, when I opened my personal property tax bill, I got confused. I thought maybe they thought I had a Lamborghini. It's I couldn't believe how much I drive a Honda CRV. But my tax bill is huge. I mean, I've heard of people that they had to put their personal property tax on their credit card because they couldn't afford to pay it. That's ridiculous. So I'm in favor of ending it. I think that we can find better, more creative ways. I'm an out of the box thinker. Let's find more creative ways to generate the revenue that we need and find a fairer way for taxation instead of this, again, dipping further into the pockets of our taxpayers, our hardworking taxpayers who seem to get dinged the hardest.
Yeah. And it's funny that we mentioned this because I went to my city, the property tax person, but in front of me was an elderly gentleman. He was like, I had my truck for over 20 years. And his bill was like, I think it was like $200. I was like, if it's a 20-year truck, $200? He ain't
That's not
working
right.
no more. He retired.
Yeah,
I
if that
just felt
man worked
like,
hard and he's retired, he should be able to enjoy a little bit of that.
yeah. Okay. All right. My last question.
Okay.
If elected, what are the top three things you hope to accomplish while in office?
Okay. Well, I think we've already discussed one of them, and that's education. Because again, I our children, if we don't set them up for success, what kind of future are we going to have? My heart breaks for them. They have it tough right now. I mean, we've got a generation ruled by social media, and the stuff that's on social media right now is horrifying. I don't even know I don't even know some of the things they're watching. So again, getting back to the basics, setting them up, making sure when they're graduating, they know how to read, they know how to write. Why don't they know how to balance a budget? Let's teach them how to do a 1040 easy tax form. Let's teach them this is how you get health insurance. Uh, all the basics of living that they're going to need to survive out there. So by doing that, we're going to need to, again, more resources to schools and more resources for teachers. We've got teachers that are eligible for food stamps. I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, they're teaching our children and they don't have the resources. How many teachers out there have had to pay out of their own pockets for their students? And that's not right either. Education goes hand in hand with public safety, because if we keep those kids in school and we keep their attention and we set them up for success and say, hey, there are better ways and you can be successful in the future. If you want to go to college, great. If you don't, why not check out the trades? You can make a lot of money without going to college. And then so we keep them interested and keep them off the streets and away from crime, because we're down almost 200 police officers in Norfolk, and they're trying. We've got the academy full, but we're lagging behind. We need to pay the police officers better so that they stay in Norfolk instead of leaving for other cities. They need better equipment, better training, and we need to provide that. And then hand in hand with that is also, we are in a mental health crisis. We do not handle mental health appropriately. We've got our jails filled with people who have mental health problems coupled with addiction. We don't treat that appropriately. Thankfully, we do have some programs. We have a drug court program. I know that the jail has some substance abuse programs. Sheriff Joe Barron is trying his best, but we need more funding for that, and we need more training. So we've got to train our police officers to handle mental health crises better. We need to work with our community services board. We don't have enough folks working there, and the folks that are working there aren't getting paid enough. The healthcare providers, I mean, it's been over 20 years since they've had a raise, and we need more of that, because we've got these folks in crisis that they really don't belong in jail. But the hospitals, what are they going to do? Spend a weekend in the emergency room? How is that helping them? We've got CHKD with a new mental health facility for children. It's already full. They have to turn people away. So we need to come up with some new solutions to handle that, because the criminal justice system is not the dumping ground for people who are suffering from mental health issues.
All right. Well, those are all the questions that I have. Is there anything else you would like to tell the people?
Again, just to let anybody know, please, if you have questions and you want to contact me, I love hearing from people. I'm going to give everybody my contact info. My email is Amy for HD94. So that's Amy, AMYFOR, HD94 at gmail.com. My number is 757-754-7176. So if you have questions or concerns, I want to hear about it because I'm very sincere when I say that I want to bring the agenda of the constituents to Richmond with me. So you tell me what's important to you because I'm here to represent you. I'm here to fill the job opening that Norfolk has in House District 94.
So tell us that number again.
Oh, the number is 757-754-7176.
176. All righty. Well, that's it. That's all I have for you.
All right.
Thanks for chatting with us and letting us know why
Thank you so much.
We should vote for you.
Yes. And I just want to remind everybody too, the Republican primary is on June 20th. So please come out and vote. Tell your neighbors and friends your vote does matter and it does count.
Yes, it does. So please, please, please go vote. Can't complain if you don't vote.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.
Good night.
Bye.